Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Virtual Odoo Experience. My name is Dowd Nowry, and I'm a Partner Manager and Business Advisor here at Odoo. I'm very excited to be presenting a talk about how to digitize your business. So let's dive in. First, let's look at the undigitized office and the ramifications of that and the costs associated with having an office that relies on paper. I've divided this cost impact into 4 distinct buckets. You look at the products, meaning everything associated not just with paper, purchasing paper, but all the products that touch that paper that you have to buy and rebuy, from printers to ink to staples to filing cabinets. Another piece of cost impact on your business is storage. All that paper trail, all the files that you have to be stored somewhere. So there is a tied impact from a real estate perspective that could be used for other functions to improve your business. Another area where there's a cost associated is productivity. When you're looking for a document or sending one of your staff to look for a report or a document that's paper-based, then they're spending a lot of time trying to find exactly where that report is. And even if you have a great filing system, that location might be far away. And finally, it's very hard to pin a dollar amount on the environment at a business level, but without a doubt, I think we can all agree that there is a vast and large impact on the environment as well. So now let's look into the paper-intensive departments and operations within a normal business. So you're looking at sales and invoicing. So when you're sending a quote, for instance, or sending invoices, if you rely strictly on paper, obviously you're going to have to print that and mail it. Client intake forms. So think of a setting of, let's say, a hospital. When new clients come in and you need to take in their information. That, if it's on paper, then clearly that's going to be consuming, again, your time and your space. And of course, you have HR and onboarding. Everything associated with recruitment, getting resumes, signing letters, sending offer letters as well. That requires obviously paper as well and can be very paper intensive. And let's not forget procurement. So if you're buying and rebuying products and you still rely on paper, it's very heavy intensive on paper as well. Compliance. So think of having multiple people within your entity that need to sign off on a document, and those documents have to be copied various times to be sent to various people to get their signature. And of course, last but not least is finance. All those invoices that have to be kept long-term, especially if they're on paper. From a statistical point of view, here are some numbers that hopefully will open your eyes into why it's a good idea to digitize your business. So currently within the United States, we use 69 million tons of paper each year. The cost per employee per paper annually is $80. That's just the paper. Again, think of all the other indirect costs, loss of time, loss of productivity that could be allocated rather than using paper. Storage. In some industries and some type of businesses, keeping all this paper can take up anywhere between 50 to 70% of their office real estate. And again, there's an indirect impact and direct impact to your costs, whether it's renting another warehouse just to store or room or office to store your paper. And recycling. We're not where we need to be. Clearly, this is tied to the environment. Right now, about 65% recycling rate within the United States. And finally, just to give you an idea of the impact, Citigroup figured out that it could save each year $700,000 if each employee conserved just 1 sheet of paper per week. So here are your reasons to digitize your office. Easy storage. You don't need those filing cabinets or extra space for that. All you really need to do is to buy digital space. And it's 2020, and it is extremely inexpensive to purchase storage in the cloud these days. So time savings as well, which is linked to productivity. If you're not sending your employees looking for documents that were stored in a warehouse somewhere in a filing cabinet, then they can spend that time doing other things, whether it's on marketing or being more productive in the business environment. Business development and productivity, which is linked again to time savings. If your employees are not spending time looking for a paper document, then they can spend it doing other things that are productive. And better customer service as well. So again, all of these are interlinked. If your employees are now dedicated to business development or your other team for customers, let's say service, they're not spending their time looking for documents. They can focus on their customers or your customers and better serve them. Look up their documentation that is in your database as well. And simplicity and accessibility, meaning if you are moving to a digitized document world, then it makes your life a lot simpler. Now you're using an interface to look for a document using the metadata. And these documents are accessible by everyone. They don't have to be in the office. They can be remote. You could be traveling and still be able to execute on a signature one way or another. And of course, there's the final very important component, which is security. What if these documents that you have that are paper-based goes up in flames? You know, there is a calamity of some sort, water damage. When you digitize your documents and you store them in the cloud, and let's say you have a redundancy mechanism as well, then you are making your business secure and foolproof. So let's look into our holistic Odoo paperless ecosystem before I dive into the specific app. So Odoo already has an ecosystem that will help you digitize your business. We have our sales and point of sale app, and I will preface that we are not going to be able to digitize everything. Some things are going to definitely have to be printed. For instance, you know, barcodes. Sometimes it's required to provide an invoice by paper as well. Potentially that could be an area. But if you can approach that process as much as possible to 90% or 95% digitization, I think that's a great approach. So with our sales and point of sale applications, the process of creating a quote and sending it to a customer to sign off on has been digitized. In our point of sale, you can easily request the client if they want a printed receipt, or you could email it to them. For client intake form, we have what are called Odoo forms, and you can create a form that would allow your potential customer to fill up their information from a tablet. HR and onboarding, we have a whole suite of applications that keep all of that interaction that used to be on paper, now it's digital. From a procurement standpoint, we have purchase, and you can create RFQs and POs and email those to your vendors so they can move forward and send you the products or raw materials that you're looking for. And from a compliance standpoint, we have e-sign and approvals. These two applications can be used in conjunction to capture signatures on important documents or get approvals on important documents, whether it's POs or sales orders or NDAs, whatever the case may be. And of course, we have our accounting app, which tackles everything from invoicing to obviously reports. The main star here that I'll be diving into is our Documents app, which we've launched a while back. Let's look at what is already existing within our version 13. So the Documents app, think of it as a repository for your different departments. And what it does is it allows you to streamline your workflow. Because our document app, just like everything else in our ecosystem, is fully integrated with various important applications, it provides streamlined actions to be completed by the right person or people at the right time. So for instance, if you have a compliance document that is in your Documents app, you can tag all the people that are needed to approve it and send it to them directly from the Documents app. You can collaborate with your team and clients as well as your vendors remotely. So you can assign documents to vendors to sign off on or look at, your customers to sign off on, or internally for, let's say, for procurement, or sign off on a specific amount that needs to be met before payment is sent out, let's say, to a vendor. So it works seamlessly with our e-sign, which I mentioned briefly before. So if you want to request a signature from anyone, we can allow that directly from Documents. And it processes documents in batches as well. So rather than work on one document at a time, you can select a variety of documents and then push those files out again to one person or various people to act on at the right time, and set activities and follow-ups on those documents as well. And of course, we can't forget the integration. Our Documents app is integrated with a variety of applications within our ecosystems. And these applications include CRM, sales, accounting, e-sign, inventory, project, time off, recruitment, employees, and payroll. So what's new in our Documents app for version 14? Well, first of all, you'll notice that now you can create spreadsheets. Now, this new feature is not entirely just contained to Documents. You will see it throughout Odoo's ecosystem and various other applications. But it is prominently available within Documents, and we'll see that in a demo here shortly. But you can create and pull standard reports from the sales team or the CRM team, or you can create new spreadsheets for internal use. The UI is very easy to use, very pleasant, very familiar to the ones that are already in market and use. PDF documents, you can easily organize and split and extract pages from multiple PDF documents. So if you receive a 3-page document that's in PDF format, you can cut those pages out, if you will, and act on 1, 2, choose your actions that you want to do on any variety or any interchangeable combination of those individual documents. PDF search. Now Odoo allows you to search contents that are on the PDF files, provided that obviously you use our OCR mechanism as well, which can extract information from the PDF. But we allow you to now be able to dive into the document and look for specific metadata that's embedded in that document. Versioning. Now you can track versions and iterations of documents. There is a trick to it. You have to use, rather than upload, and I'll show that in a demo here shortly, you need to use a specific function within Documents in order to take advantage of versioning. And you can always revert back to the previous version as well. And of course, last but not least, we have our OCR, which has been there since the get-go, but we have improved on it. So OCR, for those that do not know, is there is some artificial intelligence in the back end that looks at a PDF that's been uploaded or scanned and uploaded into the Documents app that allows you to extract and take it and digitize that PDF to create bills or invoices. So now we will look at how we can split a document. I'll go through a flow there as well and show you how to create, for instance, an action as well within the Documents app. So let's dive into the demo real quick. So I have my standard Odoo database. I also have a document folder here that I'll be using to drop from here into my Documents app. So let's dive into the Documents app real quick. And let's go through, first of all, the menu to familiarize yourself with what you're looking at. So I always advise, just in general, if you want to learn more about any one of our applications, always go to configuration and look at the settings and these menu items, because they'll give you an idea of what other features that you can enable and might be of value to your business. So always visit the configuration menu location first and take a look at that. So the UI is very friendly. To the left-hand side, you'll see all of your workspaces. And workspaces, think of them as your departments. And then beneath that, you have your tags, which you can define what tags are associated with what workspace. Up over here, you can see you can upload a document directly, so I can upload it directly from one of my folders. Or you can also drag and drop a document directly from an open folder into the interface here directly. So for instance, if I have a custom milled 2B blueprint, I can just drop it in here, and you will see that it's been added. As mentioned, now we have the ability to create spreadsheets. So if I go to spreadsheet here, as you can see, we have some canned reports that can be extracted directly because of the integration from the accounting app, the sales app, and our CRM as well. Or you can also create a blank, brand new spreadsheet. So let's do that real quick. And this is what it would look like from a perspective of the user interface. As you can see, it is very user-friendly, very familiar to other Excel spreadsheets that are out there in the market, or spreadsheets that are out there in the market. I've already created one real quick. Let's take a look at what that spreadsheet looks like. I've created a revenue report here, which I pulled directly from our canned reports, but I also created a proposal and discount matrix that I want to share with my colleagues as well. So from here, I've added sort of some dimensions to my proposal, and once I go back to my documents, I can easily share this from here, from this button, with any one of my colleagues. And you can make any share have some type of valid date until, and then it will no longer be a shareable document as well. Now let's go into, real quick, into on the side here. Just like with Odoo's ecosystem, we have what's called chatter. You can always engage on chatter and tag anyone on any document and bring that document to their attention. You can also schedule an activity on that document for that person to act on. So whether it's a phone call or a to-do activity type, you can schedule that on the document itself. Let's take a look real quick at the configuration and what you should expect from there. So let's look at workspaces, because that's very important. You can create as many workspaces as you want, and you can create subcategories that are nested under one specific workspace. For instance, under marketing, we have brand 1 and brand 2 sort of folders within the workspace. And as you can see, the tags we've associated specifically with each and every one of the workspaces, and they're different. And if we dive into, let's say, one of these workspaces, let's see what it looks like, and what are the other features you can expect. So here is where you can associate different tags for this, let's say, this HR workspace. Access rights is another very powerful feature, which will only give access to this workspace to the people that you want to define over here. So who has the right access? It's only the employees and the officers. And who has the read access are only the internal users as well. Another very important component to your workspaces are actions. And you can access actions through a variety of ways. As you can tell with Odoo, we always try to interlink the same features from different areas. So you can access actions directly from this tab here, or at the same time, you can view all of your actions here as well. So let's take a look at this action here and what it is. Within the HR workspace, we can see that we've created an action that says any document that contains PDF can be acted upon, and that action could be to send it to someone to sign it directly. Now, you can assign this action to a very specific person. The use case here would be, for instance, if you are requiring a purchasing manager, and only that purchasing manager, which is always the same person, to sign off on a document related to a vendor purchase, then that is where you can set the contact over here. And the owner would be the person who uploaded that PDF. And you can create as many actions as you want for any variety of workspaces. Let's take a look at one real quick, an additional workspace. Let's look at products here. So again, there's no read-write access here whatsoever, so anyone can see this workspace. Let's look at tags. We have our tags, which are new, plans, data sheets, specs, and NDA. And we have one action over here. And let's take a look at that action. And the action says, any document that you upload to this workspace that has the tag plans, you can then create a product template. So what this means, the use case would be, if you have, if somebody drops in a document that is for a product that you are iterating on or looking to launch into the market, once it has that specific tag, it will enable you to create a bill of materials, which then is viewable, and a product as well, which is then viewable within our inventory application. Let me show you how we can create one more action that I want to add in here in the workspace and maybe go through a workflow. So we'll say, create a bill of materials. And what I want to do is I want to create a task. So the use case I'm doing here is, we get some kind of blueprint, it comes to us, I want to send it to someone within my design group, create a bill of materials, and then then and only then, once I have a bill of materials, I'll create the product. So let's see if I can get this here. Create a task, and let's go to conditions. We'll say the tag contains specs. So only documents that I label as specs will be able to be acted upon in this capacity, meaning to send it to create a task in our projects app. So let's see what that looks like. Let's go to our documents here real quick. Let's go to our product folder. And now what I want to do is I want to take one of my blueprints here, which will say the Nido cabin. I'll drop it in here. So now that we have it, I'm going to add specs. And the minute I do that, really scroll down real quick. This new action or task appears. So when I click on Create a Bill of Materials, what it's doing is our Documents app is now taking me to our Projects application, and I'm creating a brand new task for someone to complete. So if I edit, I can say new task from Documents. I'll just rename it Create a Bill of Materials for new product. And I can set who is it assigned to. I'll send it to my colleague Mark. And we select which one, the project template we're going to use it is on Office Design. So now we can save it. So as you can see, now we are integrating with project, and we're sending a task to someone else to complete. And so now that it's complete, if we go back to our project, and if I add the tag, which if I recall the correct tag real quick, it is plans. And so once we do that, let's say Mark tags me and says, my task is complete, I can now create a new product directly in our inventory application. So if I click on that real quick, you will see that we can create a product here. I can edit, and we can say this is new cabin and save, and now I can work on creating a bill of materials. If I go ahead and edit and I change it to a storable product, now I can take that bill of materials that Mark worked on and I can create my bill of materials over here. So as you can see, integration has been made fairly easy. Now let's take a look real quick how we can split a document that we receive. So if we go back to my folder here, I have a new IoT new features. It's a fairly large document, but I want to split it. So if I drop it into my documents interface, I can then change obviously which workspace it would be under. Once I highlight the document itself, I can change which workspace it lives in by dropping the menu here and selecting where I want to relocate it. I'm going to keep it in my products workspace. So once I click on my document here, if I take a look at it, we'll see a brand new button here that says split the PDF. And if I scroll down, you will see that I have 3 pages, and I can now split the PDF from here. Which launches a brand new kind of interface, and then you can choose which document do you want to split. And once you do that, it'll split the document for you, and it'll provide all the new pages here for you. So what else that would be of value here? We talked about spreadsheets and products. And in finance as well. With OCR, you can drop an invoice in here, and we do have, again, once you select a document, you can then push this document into our OCR capabilities, which will then scan this document. Let's say it's a PDF that came from one of your vendors, and for whatever reason, they're not emailing them to you. You can then scan the data, this PDF, and we will extract all the relevant information on that document, which will then create automatically a bill within our ecosystem. And there's a lot more features that we have within our Documents app, and there's a lot more integration. This was sort of a quick glance at the new features. So I hope, let me toggle back to my presentation here. I hope that has been helpful. And in conclusion, what I would like to say is I think part of the process of digitizing your business really requires a philosophical sort of approach. If you make the stand of saying, do I really need to use paper to do this action? You'll find that 9 out of 10 times the answer is no. So hopefully this short presentation, I was able to convey to you how our ecosystem already helps our customers digitize their business. But with our Odoo application, or our Documents application, we went that next step, and we brought all these other pieces of our ecosystem and linked them into our Documents application. So we've made it easy to adopt, easy to use, and it's also, again, integrated with all of our applications. With that said, thank you for your time, and I hope to talk to you soon.